The drama surrounding the Tennessee Titans versus Cleveland Browns game didn't end when the clock hit 0. In fact, that final whistle only marked the beginning of a far bigger conversation, one that cut straight to the core of quarterback evaluation, organizational failure, and a head coach who appears determined to undermine his own future. What looked like a simple rookie quarterback comparison has now exploded into a full-blown indictment of how the Cleveland Browns are being run, and more specifically, how Kevin Stefanski continues to sabotage the development of Shedeur Sanders in real time. On the surface, the post-game comments from Titans interim head coach Mike McCoy sounded harmless, even textbook. He talked about winning, about how game flow dictates quarterback responsibilities, and about how a strong running game is a rookie quarterback's best friend. In isolation, none of that is controversial. Every coach in the league believes it. But context matters, and in this case, context changes everything. McCoy's remarks landed in a moment where Shedeur Sanders had just dragged a broken offense back into a game it had no business being competitive in, while Cam Ward benefited from one of the most quarterback-friendly environments imaginable. When McCoy emphasized wins over circumstances, it unintentionally shined a spotlight on how uneven this entire comparison really was. Cam Ward walked into a situation tailor-made for rookie success. The Titans established the run early and never let go of it. Tony Pollard punished the Browns' defense, forcing extra bodies into the box and creating clean throwing lanes off play action. Ward rarely faced obvious passing downs. He was protected, insulated, and allowed to operate within structure. That is how rookie quarterbacks are supposed to be developed. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders was thrown into chaos. The Browns couldn't run the ball. The offensive line failed to generate push. Receivers struggled to separate consistently. Sanders became the team's leading rusher by necessity, not design, scrambling to keep drives alive while defenses keyed in on him with zero fear of the run. And still, with all of that working against him, Sanders was the best player on the field when it mattered most. Late in the game, with the Browns reeling, he led back-to-back scoring drives in under 6 minutes, throwing with confidence, precision, and composure that veteran quarterbacks struggle to maintain. He didn't fold under pressure. He didn't play safe. He attacked. That's not flashy for the sake of stats. That's leadership. That's a quarterback elevating a failing unit with sheer talent and will. The only reason this game didn't end with Sanders as the hero is because Kevin Stefanski refused to let him be one. The final sequence of the game tells you everything you need to know about what's wrong in Cleveland. Down 1 point after a late touchdown, the Browns had a choice. Go to overtime or go for the win. Stefanski made the correct initial decision to go for 2. With momentum, confidence, and a defense on its heels, that was the aggressive, modern call. But then came the fatal mistake. Stefanski took the ball out of Shedeur Sanders' hands. Instead of trusting the quarterback who had just carved up the defense on consecutive drives, Stefanski dialed up a play designed for a rookie running back who had been ineffective all night. This wasn't bad luck. This wasn't execution. This was philosophy, and it was indefensible. When you have a quarterback playing at that level, you don't get cute. You don't outthink yourself. You don't shift responsibility onto the least reliable option on the field. You empower your best player to decide the game. That's coaching 101. And yet, Stefanski did the opposite. The play failed, predictably, and the Browns lost. Not because Sanders couldn't deliver, but because he was never given the chance. Former players saw it immediately. Analysts called it out without hesitation. The criticism wasn't emotional. It was logical. Why remove the ball from the one player who had proven he could handle the moment? Why trust a rookie running back to make a post-snap read on a cornerback instead of letting your quarterback read the defense and make the call himself? Stefanski's post-game explanations only made things worse. He insisted the play was perfectly designed. He brushed off accountability. He sounded like a coach more concerned with defending his decision than understanding why it failed. And this wasn't an isolated incident. This has become a pattern. Red zone opportunities routinely end with Sanders watching from the sidelines while trick plays, wildcat packages, or running back-heavy calls take over. It's as if the coaching staff is actively allergic to letting him succeed too visibly. Every time Sanders builds momentum, something intervenes to halt it. Every time he proves he belongs, the system pulls him back. At some point, coincidence no longer applies. What's happening looks less like conservative coaching and more like deliberate suppression. The contrast with Tennessee couldn't be clearer. The Titans committed to Cam Ward early. He received first-team reps from the beginning. The offense was built to protect him. Mistakes were absorbed as part of the process. Confidence was reinforced, not questioned. Cleveland did the opposite with Sanders. He was buried on the depth chart, denied meaningful reps, told he would redshirt, fed narratives about readiness instead of opportunity. And yet, when finally forced onto the field by circumstance, he immediately outperformed expectations. That's what makes McCoy's comments sting, even if they weren't meant as disrespect. When he talked about how young quarterbacks need a run game, protection, and rhythm, he was describing exactly what Sanders has been denied. He was, unintentionally, exposing how badly Cleveland has failed its own quarterback. Sanders was asked to do more with less, and he still delivered. Ward was asked to manage a favorable situation, and he did. Both outcomes can be true, but pretending they carry equal evaluative weight is dishonest. Kevin Stefanski's continued presence as head coach becomes harder to justify with each passing week. The Browns look disorganized, predictable, and emotionally flat. Game management errors stack up. Offensive identity is non-existent. Press conference answers feel evasive. And through it all, one truth remains unavoidable. Shedeur Sanders gives this team its best chance to win, and Stefanski refuses to fully embrace that reality. Sanders' performance under adversity tells you everything about his future. He has the arm talent. He has the poise. He has the clutch gene. Most importantly, he has the mental toughness to survive an environment actively working against him. That kind of resilience translates. Whether Cleveland figures it out or not, Sanders will be fine. Talent like that always finds daylight eventually. The real question is whether the Browns will once again be the organization that lets a franchise quarterback slip through its fingers because of ego, fear, and incompetence. So was Mike McCoy throwing shade? Maybe. Maybe not. In the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is that Shedeur Sanders continues to prove, week after week, that he belongs, while Kevin Stefanski continues to prove he cannot be trusted to develop him. One of these trajectories points upward. The other is spiraling toward an inevitable conclusion. Now it's your turn. Was Stefanski's two-point call coaching malpractice? Or are people overreacting? Should Shedeur Sanders already be the unquestioned starter? And should Stefanski still have a job after this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you want more in-depth breakdowns that don't sugarcoat organizational failure, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This story isn't finished, and we'll be here for every chapter as it unfolds.